Hello, a very good evening to you all. Yes, it's 6 o'clock. That just means, doesn't it, it's the start of another brand new one-day special. We've got Ali here with us. It's Stamps Away. You are looking at some beautiful creations. And I've got to tell you as well, when it comes to the one-day special, wow, this is value for money. 4 individual projects are involved here. And if you break down the price, do you know what? We'll go through all the details, but £9.99 per project. It's a crazy price. A very good evening to you. Let's just go straight to Ali and say a very good evening. Hello there.
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Exciting.
Yes, we've had shows recently together.
I know,
it's nice
been a
to see you again so soon.
I know, it's only been a week.
Oh.
A lot can happen in a week, though.
Oh, Ali, I'll tell you what. Everybody's been admiring the set. I've got to say, the value, once again, in the one-day special is just incredible. Do you want to tell us a little bit about it?
So basically what we've got is we've got 4 MDF projects, and they're all slightly different, but they've got that alterability. That's what I wanted. I wanted things that you could really get your teeth stuck into, whether it's the actual kit itself, like the entomologist box, or whether it's something like the shelf where you can sit and spend ages making little things to put on it, because that's where I can get lost for hours making things. So, you know, we've got the shelf there, and there's the canvases, there's the candles, whatever you want to put on it. The shelf just displays them, because I think we tend to put our craft in away a little bit. So this gives you the option to make it on display. And the box there with the drawers, each of those drawers can come out and you can swap what one's on display, and then they close up, and it's based on the museum display cases.
So clever. They're absolutely amazing. They really are. Do you know, whether you want to go down the grungy route, whether you want to keep little bottles in there, whether you want to go all pretty, you can do all those different things. Look at the price of this. The one-day special, saving £19. It really is value for money. 2 payments of £19.98 as well. Item number there for you, 456493. Let's have a look at each of the projects individually. So we'll start with the entomologist case. Oh, I'm so pleased I managed to say that. I can't get my words out today again. This is just such a clever idea. Now, Ali, there are 3 drawers in there, and you've displayed one of them on the top there, but of course you can change the items inside the drawers. You can change it however you wish.
The idea being, because if you go to a museum, they'll have trays and trays of the butterflies, moths and things like that for identification, and you take one out and you look at it, and that's where the idea came from. It goes back to my childhood of a particular museum, and I used to get really excited to go to the gallery, and that's what I wanted. So the idea being that they're in the trays, and then you pull one out and then you can put it on display. So this means you can mix things up, so you can change which one you have out on display. You can have a drawer for each family member, so you can have photographs in there, you can have memories. The trays can be, they're about an inch deep, so you've got depth for having dimension in there, but you've got the little doors that close over. You get the plastic in there as well, so that you can do the faux glass effect on there.
I'm going to pull a drawer out of another sample a little bit.
So this is done properly, like a proper entomologist box. This has all got butterflies, obviously not real ones, they're the ephemera ones. So it slides out.
This is absolutely amazing. Look at this.
And then they open up, so it's a double door, so you get that sensation of opening up.
And of course, these aren't real butterflies. We'll see more of these a little bit later on as well. Such a lovely idea, such a way to keep your keepsakes, or perhaps if you're taking the children to the beach or the woods or the forest and you're collecting your bits and pieces, it's a great way to display them. Do you know, I'm not going to try and do that backwards. I'll wait until we can put that back safely. Now, I can tell you we are already really, really busy. 20% of the one-day special has already gone. I'm just thinking as well, Ali, just to come back to this particular item, if I just remove that top tray, is it stuck down?
No, you just pull it straight up.
Oh, yes,
of course. The handle that you pull it out with becomes the slot to put it into the top.
Ah, how clever. So it's not going to just topple over.
No.
But if you wanted to go for more than one, you could stack these on top of each other.
You could, and then just use the top one to display. You always have to make sure the top drawer space is empty, because in order to support even the heaviest of trays, we've had to make the handle that sticks through deeper.
Yeah.
So you always make sure that the gap is at the top.
Do you know, it is such a clever idea. We are very, very busy. Individually, you can see the details at the bottom of the screen because the value is in the one-day special. So we've done the trays there. Let's have a look at our next project. So this is your altered art house. And again, Alice, so many ways you can decorate this, or any theme would work, wouldn't it?
Exactly. This is what I wanted, because I've even done a Christmas version of the entomologist box. I wanted something that can be whatever you want it to be, so it can be your personality, and that's where MDF comes into its own, because you can use paint on it, you can use your papers. whatever catches your imagination. But I love making little things. I like gathering stuff. So this one is just got a mixture of bits of wood that I found when on a walk that caught my eye. I've made some little books. I could spend hours just doing that. I can be totally lost in my own little world, making things to go into little boxes like that. And because it's a house, you've got that idea of rooms, so you've got that sort of family feel. And then we had it so there's a little sign to hang on the front. You know, it's just fun.
It really is. And it's something that you're going to continue creating, isn't it? You'll build the house up, you'll decorate it. You can always change the decor, but it is about putting all those different things in there. Let's have a look at the magic shelf. I absolutely adore this. What a great way to display your items. Now, this is just a fabulous idea. All these old bottles on here. Oh, now then, if you missed it on the Ephemera next week, do stay with us as well. If you have got that, then you might want some more because, oh, amazing stuff here. Ali, this is lovely. I think, do you know, whichever room it's in the house, this is going to work.
It does, and the first time I built it, it made me think of a 1960s sitcom in the background.
Oh,
you know,
I
it needed
know
to
what
be
you
in oranges and browns because it's got that retro feel to it as well.
Yeah.
But as soon as I did it in a walnut stain, it's old world. You could see that in an antique shop, and that's again what's so great with MDF. It can be whatever you want it to be. And again, if that's Christmas, you could I've wrapped ivy around this one, but there's no reason why you couldn't wrap lights around it and have all your little snow globes and the trinkets that you accumulate that have sentimental value, or photos or anything. But it's just got that clever idea, so you've got different size compartments and it's all balanced.
Love it.
The first time you put a cup of tea on it, you do go, who's it actually going to... But we tested it with cups of tea to make sure it was balanced.
You could wall mount that, I suppose, as well, if you really wanted to.
As long as you've got the correct fixings.
Yeah.
But yeah, easily.
Perfect.
It's really fun.
That is item number 3 as part of the one-day special, and the 4th project is our wonderful grandfather clock. I love this. Now again, we can see some of that ephemera on there, can't we? But many ways again, Ali, to decorate up here. I mean, any theme goes once again.
It is, and what's nice with this is we've actually done this particular grandfather clock in 3 different sizes, and I happen to know somebody's shared one on Facebook already of the middle-size one, and this is the teeny tiny one. But one of the samples, I actually left the front doors off it and have made it into a little shelf unit. So again, capturing my love of making things small. So, you know, you've got that option. This isn't a working clock because it's small, but if you had an old pocket watch or something like that, you could, the workings of that would fit it. But you've actually got stickers, so you can put the hands wherever you want them to be.
I love that. Perhaps if you're making for a gift, it could be the time somebody got married or the time a child was born.
I thought for birth of a child would be lovely, because then you could put little, you know, the little keepsakes, the wristband from the hospital and things in the cupboard, because the cupboard does have opening doors. Possibly not on the 2 where I may have overdone it with the ephemera. Because I got a little carried away. But yeah,
but they do look amazing and very, very useful items. Let's just go through those details one more time. So remember, you're getting all 4 of those kits in the one-day special. If you break that down, it works out at just £9.99 per project. And we're giving you that flexi-buy option as well. 2 payments of £19.98. Doesn't get much better, does it? 456493 is the item number. But we do have more for you, because when it comes to decorating, whether it's the things that you're putting inside these projects, whether you want to work with other things as well, lots of different mediums, great mediums from Stamps Away. And I can tell you, the first one we're going to talk about is this one. This is our rusty stuff, our rusting kit. Now, you've got the inspirational book and the mediums there, as we can see. Ali, tell us about this. This is a really lovely little kit.
Right, so what you've got is you've got a book which covers everything in terms of using the rusting powder. We're using it with fabric, so even if you're a fabric crafter, it's perfect. It's all the different things. It's fabulous photographs. It's not a massive amount of words in there, which I like. There's lots of impact, and it's really interesting read, and all the different effects about stamping with the rusting powder, all sorts of different things. And then we've put in some mediums. Obviously the rusting powder, which is the very important thing. Gilding flakes, because rusting gilding flakes is the most delicious thing. Not actually tasty, but looks really good. We've put a very important ingredient in. You've only got a small bottle of it because it is readily available. We've put in the vinegar. The vinegar is the activator. You can do it with water, but it's so slow, it's painful. Whereas vinegar is so quick.
Yeah.
It still takes time because it's a natural process. You're actually oxidizing. It's great. It's science as well. So if you're doing it with youngsters watching, it's fascinating. But so you get some vinegar, which obviously you can restock yourself at any point. But we've put some in so you can get going straight away.
Oh,
we've
perfect.
put these amazing copper curls in because copper doesn't actually rust. But when you start using the rusting powder and the copper curls and the vinegar, you just get the most amazing effects.
Wow.
You don't have a massive element of control because it's sort of natural, which is fabulous. So that's using the rusting powder, the gilding flake, the curls, the black gesso. I've put black gesso in as well because it's a real great way to make the rust pop out.
Oh, I love that.
He's
Look
amazing,
at the
isn't he?
there.
So you've got the rust
Wow.
and the micas that are coming up in a minute.
That is beautiful.
But he's developed over the day. He's actually still going a little bit. He does still smell of the vinegar, so he's still actually...
He does actually.
Yeah, he's still going a little bit. He's not fully dried. This lantern has got... So I took a rusty lantern, I unrusted it, painted it, and then rusted it again.
Is this the one that you shared on my page?
Yes.
Look at this.
It's been sitting, but I wanted the rust in specific places, and that's what this is all about. So I've actually got rust going on shells.
Wow.
Things that shouldn't rust, you can rust with this.
Amazing.
You get glue as well in there so that you've got everything you can. All you need is a surface to rust.
Love it. Oh, we're spoilt for choice, aren't we? $19.99 if you want to go for the rusting kit. Don't forget, you do get the book. I didn't show you every page of that book, by the way. I didn't want to spoil it for when you get that home. 448324 is the item number. Oh, wait until you see these. Now, oh, these are something special. And I know there's been questions about mica today as well, and Ella's been answering some as well, so I think we'll learn a lot more about mica during this particular one-day special. Now we've got a whole collection here. You've got 9 mica collections here, sorry, 9 individual colours here in this collection. These colours are absolutely beautiful, but these are a little bit different to your normal micas. Are these your micas and more?
The 6 are micas and more, and then you've got 3 traditional beautiful micas. So the copper, gold and silver at the top are the traditional micas, which are beautiful and lovely, and you can do all sorts of amazing things. But then when we wanted to have more colour to them, we thought, right, let's step it up a little bit. So these are the micas and more. They are incredibly vibrant colours, but they have the most intense sparkle to them. But the sparkle isn't just in the pink, it's not a pink sparkle. You've got a purple in there. The purple has a navy blue sparkle to it, as well as the actual sparkle. The green has a gold in it. The yellow has a red. They're just amazing. And when you start using them in different ways, because they're a powder that you can dust on, you can mix it with water and paint it. There's just so many things you can do with them, and the colours are just fantastic. So depending how they catch the light as to which colour you will see, whether it's on a light surface or a dark surface, we're going to use them onto black gesso, and the colours that come through are just phenomenal. Again, so that's using it. So that's combining, so you can see that gold sparkle coming through from the emerald.
That's beautiful.
And then you've got the rust in there as well. And I put a bit of the peacock on because the peacock, although it looks blue in the jar, has got a beautiful green mica to it. So when you get the two mixing together, it's fabulous.
Doesn't it work so well with that rust effect as well? Oh, these are gorgeous. £29.97 if you want to go for the full collection. Now you can go for the top shelf if you want. If you want to go for the gold, the silver and the bronze together, we can give you the details for those as well. $11.99 for those. Item number 055574. Now the other colours, if you're not going for the full collection, you can get on a pick and mix. So it's any 3. I think you're going to find it hard to choose actually. Any 3 for $11.99. But you know what? Oh, if you can afford that whole collection, you're going to have a lot of fun with those. Great. Now I've got to ask Ali, because the show earlier on about with Zuri, somebody asked a question about micas. Could you put those in moulds as well?
Yes, you can. What you'll find with the top layer, the beautiful micas, work absolutely perfectly. The others, because they have a dye in them as well, as the resin hits them, the colour will explode a little. Explode's a bit of an exaggeration, but it will it'll burst, it'll come to life, so you'll get that colour coming through. So really nice as well if you swirl through, because you'll get more intense colours as there's more crystals of the dye. So yeah, really experiment and play with that. But yeah, dusting inside is lovely as well.
Oh, we are going to learn much more about those as we go along. Now, we've got one more item to tell you about. We've got some stencils for you here as well. Now, these are lovely. You've got your 6x6 stencils or masks, depending on how you want to look at these. I think we've got a bit of both going on here, actually. Now, these are great, Ali, as well. You've got a really nice mix of different designs here.
I was wanting something that would complement the one day special in terms of, you know, creating nice backgrounds, but also some that were a bit of fun, because when you're dealing with mica powders and things like that, you want lots of contrast, and so the alphabets are really nice because it's a whole design. You can really make that pop out. The circles, the circles going into the middle, who doesn't love that? It's so, and it works really nicely because these fit inside the trays of the entomologist tray. So they're the perfect size, so there's a lot of fun, so you can draw the eye in. They're just, again, emboss them through your machine, ink through them, and then when you've inked through them, dust your micas on, all sorts of different things. Perfect.
Well, if you want to go for those, look at the price on these as well. £4 saving, just £9.96. You're getting all four of those, 690 743. Remember, if you're going for the one day special, you've opened up a flexi basket as well, so anything you pop in there, you can split the cost as well. Now, I did mention the ephemera earlier on. We've got that available again for you. This is a pick and mix of any three. If you did miss the shows last week with Ali, please do have a look at those, or make sure you tune in for the one day special shows. I'm sure Ali's going to be using these throughout the hours. These are absolutely amazing. You've seen lots of samples around the studio where these have been used as well, all sorts of different designs. So it's a pick and mix of any three, and you get 3 sheets in each pack, so essentially you've got 9 sheets in total. Well worth every penny of those. Can't wait to see more demonstrations using those, hopefully during this hour as well. Will we use any?
I'm sure they'll sneak in occasionally, but I'm going to start with, I'm actually going to build one of the trays of the entomologist box, because I do think sometimes people go, oh, that looks really complicated. So I wanted to show you that it's not. And actually, we've done a couple of things that mean that you can sort of cheat a little bit in terms of, so that the doors aren't going to be in the way when you're working and things, because you want to build and then decorate, because you've got hinges and things like that. So we've done it in such a way that you don't have to put the doors on straight away and things like that. Okay. So you have the tray, and it has the little slide out bit, and that, when you're working, if you're decorating, have that towards you, because if you're going to stick that into the top of the box, that's going to be the bottom. Right, so have that towards you. And then you've got some bits that have the holes, that acts as the hinge. Yep. You've got 2 other sides. You've got a very important nameplate. And then these 2 bits are the actual hinges that the doors fix to. So, get some glue. I've just opened this one up, so...
Now, we do have the glue available as well. Highly recommended. Now, you get 3 bottles of this, 50 millilitres in each. Really good buy. Great for your MDF and all sorts of crafting purposes, actually. 092 278 is the item number, just £11.99.
We may be mixing some mica with it later.
Oh!
Because
Will we see that explosion of colour with the glue?
You get it a little bit, but because the glue's white, it's not as... It's more fun when you do it with water, because then obviously it's clear. Yeah. When you're dealing with something that's white that dries clear, basically anything that dries clear, just squeeze that too hard. I hadn't checked my lid was screwed on. Anything that you do that's, I'm going to do this with a paintbrush because I'm going to make a mess otherwise.
I didn't think you ever made a mess, Ali.
Me? Never. Never, never. Yes, anything that dries clear, your mica will mix in nicely. Okay, so just make sure that you're putting glue everywhere where MDF touches MDF. I'm going to get a different glue out later because this one's just going to annoy me. This is what happens when you put yourself a new one in the bag about 6 months ago and forget it's in there, and it's been in and out of the car in the heat of summer. It may have got a little bit cooked. I do that a lot. I had a candle in, you know, one of these LED candles. Forget they're real wax. Yeah. It was, a bit of a melted mess. So the basic box comes together, and then the hinge goes in. So you just pull it apart very slightly. I let the glue hold it a little bit, and that's your hinge.
Oh, so that's very easy to do.
It is. And then that goes on the top and glues in place. But while I'm decorating inside here, I'm not going to glue that on. It's going to get in the way. So I can glue that on in a bit. So
I see what you mean now. Yes, this is, I totally understand that, because it would, wouldn't it? If they were there, you'd be
so they
sort
can
of
just
leaning your hand on them.
They can just flop away out of the way, and so those bits are there for
totally
later.
free.
So
Perfect.
what we're
Do
going
you
to
know, just very briefly, Ali, just to give a bit of an update, because we are very, very busy. Almost a quarter of the stock of the one-day special has gone. Remember, you are getting 4 individual projects broken down. They work out at just £9.99 each. Details, if you keep an eye on the screen, we'll flash up lots of different details, including the individuals as well. So if you want to double up on something, you can, but the value really is in the one-day special. Sorry, Ali.
Okay, so I was just going to say the trays are just about the working area, about 6 by 6, because one of our stencils and masks drops in the bottom rather beautifully. It's almost like we planned it that way.
Isn't it?
So I'm just going through with my good old trusty filler.
Your finger that you're using there. You see, you never get messy, Ali, do you?
No, never get messy at all. Can't believe I changed my top. I thought, oh no, I'll show willing. I'll change my top and put a smart pale pink on, because that's a practical colour for me. Don't want to waste any. Get it off my finger. Okay, so I'm just going to lift this off, and I've just remembered to turn. This is the only trouble when you don't have nails. There we go. I've remembered to turn this round so that it's facing the front of me, because I'm going to start building a little scene in there. So you can see that's given a really nice detail in the back there. Oh, actually now my glue is going to be handy, because I can just be... So I'm going to take one of my plaster casts, which are on the...
Now we've got those available as well, haven't we? Now there's different options actually on the plaster cast, so you can have a look at them all. Oh, a lot of glue going on there. Can't wait. Is that where the mica's going by any chance?
Oh, no. Well, the mica's going everywhere. Mica is going everywhere. No, what I'm doing is I'm going to just create very quickly. Now, really, this is a project that you would do this bit the night before and let it all dry overnight.
Okay.
But because I'm not the most patient crafter in the world, we're not going to let that happen. So I've just thrown loads of glue on, because I want to throw in some little beads and things. What I'm trying to create is as much texture as I can, because mica is a sediment. It doesn't actually dissolve into water. It doesn't dissolve into paint. It floats around in it. So anywhere that you can create little gullies for it to gather, you're going to intensify the sparkle.
Of course. And of course the colour, that the explosion of colour that you were talking about is coming from the dye, from the pigments in there.
Yes. But what's quite fun with this one is we're actually going to work with black. So you wouldn't think that you would still get that fabulous effect because you're working on black.
Oh, I'm excited to see
Okay,
this.
so I'm going to give this a quick blast just so that I can do a little bit of gesso on it.
Okay.
Obviously, you would spend a little bit more time doing this. The entomologist case that's in between Catherine and I, the black one, has this effect on the top of it at the moment.
We'll see if we can find that for you, because the effect is amazing. We're just having a look at that for you now. There you can see on the screen, look at the mica. You can see every little indentation in that skull there as well. Isn't that effective? I see what you mean about the texture, Ali.
Yeah, so you want places that it's going to catch. Right, I'm going to cheat a little bit. Now, obviously, if you were doing this at home, you will be painting all of this lovingly with black gesso. You would be painting your tray. Before you paint the outside of the tray, make sure you attach your doors so that you're not going to fill up your slots and tabs too much. Okay, I'm having to dab because obviously the filler's not dry and I don't want to disturb it too much.
No.
I'm just being a bit sort of rough with it because I've got a cheat. If you take your black gesso and mix it in a spray bottle with some water, you can make a spray gesso which gets into all the little gaps that
I remember seeing you do that before, and it works so well, doesn't it?
It does. It just saves you a lot of time. because time is not something, as you and I know, we have an excess of. And if you want to get things, so that's probably enough. I'm going to cheat now.
Okay.
So always shake it and always mix with warm water.
So what sort of ratio have you put in there, gesso as water? Would you give a
I
suggestion?
would go at least half and half. It depends what spray bottle you're going into,
Okay.
because some of them have a thicker nozzle,
Yeah.
so that you can take it slightly thicker. But the only thing you'll find, if you go too watery, you might have to do a second coat.
Okay.
And you can just build it up. So you could go really quite watery, doesn't matter.
So if it was quite watery, then you could go with a nice even layer of spray and then let it dry and then spritz over the top and build that.
Yeah, and do it like that,
Perfect.
and then you'll get the intense. Just go until it's as dark as you want it. But sometimes it's quite nice to not have it completely dark.
Yeah.
So experiment, because sometimes you might want, particularly if you've put bright flowers, you might want a bit of colour coming through. But because I'm going to go over with the micas in a minute, I want it. Now I'm going to try and get this as dry as I can, because gesso has like a plastery feel to it, and if it mixes with micas too much, it will actually coat the mica within the powder and dull it.
Yeah.
So if you find that your micas aren't sparkling, make sure that your gesso layer is fully dry.
Oh, that's a good tip, actually. I never thought of it like that.
Now, normally I would say with micas, right, okay, now we can mix them into water and put them into a spritz bottle and spritz them. You can't with the micas and more. You can with the beautiful micas, but you can't with the micas and more, unless you've got a really thick spray bottle, yeah, a wide spray bottle, because the chunks of mica in them are quite sizable. Not sizable in terms of you could feel it, but it will clog up your spray bottle. If that happens, if you decide to give it a go to see if it will work with your spray bottle, by all means do that. If you do find that it clogs up your spray bottle, take your spray to pieces, put it in a jam jar, half fill it with warm water, put the lid on, shake it, and that will dislodge any bits that have clogged it up.
Lovely.
So I had to come up with a technique to make it still work.
Okay.
So sorry, this is taking a little while to dry, but I can tell you all about mica in the meantime. So
you're the person to talk to about mica, I know that.
I've always loved it, and I'm so excited to have something new with mica, if you know what I mean, because I've tried all sorts. I've mixed mica with all sorts. You know, I love it to bits. I can rotate my tray round now, because now my skull's in place, I know which way up it goes, and I don't have to worry. So you can see it's going matte. I'm going to break the golden rule in a minute, because, as I say, I'm such a patient crafter. Why is Jo Channon laughing?
I'm laughing at Jo Channon across the way there. She's
having a
finding
little
that very
snigger at me
amusing.
being patient.
I think we're all the same, aren't we?
I know. And this is, I mean, they quite often say, well, how many projects do you have on at the go at the same time? If I've got something that needs to dry, I have to be doing something else. Otherwise, I'll be going, is it dry yet? Is it dry yet? And just disturbing it.
Do you need a little bit of time? Are you okay? Will it work? Will it work as
Were you going to have a little flick
well,
through?
I was just thinking we could show the ephemera or just remind people about things. So let's just, we'll start with the one day special, because of course Ali's using that in this demonstration. So let's just go through the projects again. You're getting all 4 in the one day special. So there you can see the entomologist case. I can't say it now, you see. The altered art house, and you've got the magic shelf, and of course you've got that wonderful, what's the name of the other one? It's not on there, is it? That's the altered house. Of course, the grandfather clock, that's the other one. And we've got flexi-buy option for you as well. Let's have a look at these, because now you can see here as well in the front, this is how everything comes. So everything's pre-cut for you. All the different slots are there, the notches and everything, they're all there. We're just having a look now at how everything builds up. How beautiful do these look, even in their raw state. So I'm sure you can conjure up with your imagination how you could decorate these. But I think I'm with Ali on this one. It's about what you put inside them as well. That's where the fun really happens. But you know, any season, any reason you want to use these, any sort of decor, whatever's your thing, it's going to work. Now with the case, just a reminder there, you've got the 3 trays. The top one, I think this is so clever. I'm just going to lift that up again. You can see that handle that Ali was talking about. Make sure that's facing you when you decorate. substrate, so you know that's going to be at the bottom, because when you stand these into the slot, which holds it so securely to display, then of course everything's going to be the right way up. Such a clever idea. And then of course we have got the altered house for you as well, which again, do you know, any theme, any season, use your paints, use your mediums, use your micas of course. You can store all your little keepsakes in there, again your photographs, it's entirely up to you. Then I think, do you know, I really love the floating shelf. I think this is so clever. If you wanted to wall mount it, you could do. It does look as though it would topple, but it really doesn't. You can see there's quite a lot of weight on there. There's glass on there, there's pottery on there, there's all sorts of bottles on there. What a great way to display. Do you know, if you are creating something yourself and you've got that in your craft room, whether it's on a desk or on the wall or anywhere else in the house, is a really good way to display your items, isn't it? And then of course finally we do have the grandfather clock with those working doors as well, so if you wanted to take those off you could do, if you want to just leave them open and then store things inside or display things again on little shelves, you can do that as well. That's the one day special for you. As I say, all breaks down to just £9.99 per project, and already a quarter of the stock has gone. This is, of course, the launch show, and we're only halfway through as well. 456493 is the item number. And anything else you're adding into your basket, if you're going for the one day special, remember you can split the cost as well. Now, we are going to get back to Ali in a second, but I did really want to show you these because the ephemera, if you missed out on these before, these are just amazing. Now, it's a pick and mix. It's choosing any three. Now, you get 3 sheets per pack. Sometimes you'll find that some sheets are the same. Sometimes you might find they're all different. It depends on the style. I do remember from last week, there's a handmade by me label in there, which is great because you've got all sheets the same. So if you want to apply those to all your projects, you can. I love the ticker. Wonderful. Do you know, there's all sorts in here. There's photographs, there's your labels, there's colour, there's black and white. You've got the butterflies coming up as well. These are amazing. Look at those butterflies. They're perfect to go with a one day special, aren't they? They really are.
That's part of where the idea came from.
Is it?
Yeah. I mean, I've wanted a case like this for a long time, I say, just because it invokes so many memories of going to the natural history museums and things like that. But then when we did the butterflies and I started laying them out just on book pages into frames, it's like, oh, you've got to do it. And he's done exactly what I wanted in my head, because obviously I didn't make it easy for him. It's like, I wanted to do this, this and this. And
do you know, and they're so nice as well, because if you did miss those shows last week, just to explain as well, you can see colour through. They are transparent in the background. Even if there's colour there, you will pick up the colour that's underneath.
So if you're putting it over book pages, you'll be able to see the book page through, so you're adding that interest. It's all about creating layers. Yeah,
perfect. There you can see some of the ephemera used on the grandfather clock there. So you've got quite a lot of colour in that one, but you can see the colour coming through from underneath. If you wanted to block it out, Ali, I remember you saying about gesso underneath as well. If you want the colours to pop, white gesso.
We've also got on the show as well, we've got a mixed media substrate pack. It's very different to the one we had on Monday, because this one is more papers and things like that. And we've got one of the papers where there's tissue in there, and there's also newspaper print paper, and they look fabulous on that because it's not perfectly white, so you get that lovely off-white coming through, so again adds that vintage effect.
Do you know what, we've got everything for you on the website as well. I just want to show you actually this one. I haven't gone through them all, but this one was particularly busy last week, so if you missed out, back in stock for the one day special. Please don't miss out on the crackle if you haven't seen it. And also the insects were so busy last week. In fact, they all were, but particularly they stood out, didn't they?
Again, the dragonfly right in the middle of a tray, that's all you need to do. Right, so while you were having a lovely look, I've got this pretty dry now. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to wet a brush. Now, it's not going to be overly wet, and I'm going to dip into a mica. And I'm just sort of going to dab on. Okay, don't worry. But can you see, you're seeing blue and green. Okay.
Oh, that water's going to be so useful afterwards.
Oh, it will be, don't worry, we'll dip things in. Now, can you see that gold coming through?
Yes.
Okay, but I'm leaving bits of powder here as well, because I want this to be really watery and flowy.
I love that green.
I haven't put a massive amount of water in here because, right, so here we're coming in with, look how that colour changes.
You might have to tilt that towards the camera a little bit as well, Ali, just so you can see there. Look at that.
Okay, and I'm not putting too much on the actual skull. So I've got patches where the powder is still powdery.
Yeah.
So we're going to come in with the flame red, and again this has got a gold to it. So the
look
only
at that.
reason I've used a damp brush is to actually pick the powder up.
Oh, I can see it fizzing, Ali.
Okay, just so that we've got, right,
Wow.
so looks fabulous. I'm going to put the lids on because I'm going to spritz with water now.
Oh,
so
if you can
I've got
afford the full collection, I think you need to go for it. Those colours.
they mix
Wow.
together so beautifully. So just, I'm not putting those lids on brilliantly, I'll just put them to one side. So now I've just got a spritz bottle with just water in.
Okay.
So where you've got bits of powder, you can already see the colours changing, but I'm just going to spritz. Look at it, it looks like it's dancing. I'm hoping you can
really, you can see it very clearly. Wow.
look at, watch here, look at it, isn't it amazing? You can see that. And then the wetter you get it, the more it will flow about and find all those little crevices that we created with that texture.
Wow.
So if you are a patient crafter, you would of course let this dry naturally, because the more it dries naturally, the more the mica will flow about and catch little things. But also the more it dries, the sparklier, that's not even a word, I do apologise, it will become. But look how the colours blend. But also when you use your heat gun, you can direct things around. But this is why it's important to make sure that gesso's dry, because this is where it will start to... But do you see what I was saying about the fact that the colours, even on black...
It really works so well.
And then you can always go in and add more colour where you want, but doesn't that look...
Now it's really picking up the
Absolute.
texture from the stencil as well in the background.
Yeah,
Look
so
at
I
that.
can tip it up now. It's dry enough for me to...
Oh, look at the blue in the eye socket there.
Yeah, so you've got, I mean, I used it's a stencil brush, you know, I've gone on, but you could go in with a real delicate brush and be quite, but I love the fact that where it starts to blend together, but look how this red, you get that beautiful, almost just patina look of it, and the sparkle from the green with that gold coming through, but you've still got the green there as well. You've not obliterated it, and that's over black.
Oh, that purple as well. Now that really is showing well.
But you see the purple, as you tilt it, you get that lovely navy blue. So it's very much petrol on water. So you can see why I called the blue peacock, because when you look at it in the pot, it's like, that's blue. But it's not. Look at that. You've got that green tone coming through now, and you can see. And
to think that with the rusting kit as well, you could use that alongside this.
Yeah, we're going to set a green man off at about 10:02. We'll set a green man off. What's the time now?
Oh, you've got a bit of time yet. We'll give
because we'll set him off so we can look at him again
heads up
at
on
8 o'clock. 8 o'clock, not 9 o'clock.
Oh, yes, 8 o'clock. Ali's back, of course, for the second show. Now, we have had an email in, actually, Ali. A question. Someone's asking, how heavy are the plaster casts? Now, obviously, plaster can be quite weighty and it's solid.
They're heavier than dry clay, obviously, but they're not...
Now, I don't know if we've got a name of the person that's emailed in. It's Jude, actually. And hey, Jude. Lovely to hear from you.
They're sturdy, but they're not overly heavy. It's,
well, I know what Jude wants to do with it. This is intriguing me,
actually. Well, then, if you know what Jude wants to do with it, I just happen to have a box of them under here.
Well, Jude wants to decorate a lampshade.
Try, that's a fossil one. See what you think.
Oh, you have to put it there,
yeah.
You have to try and... I've got some scales somewhere, but
they will
get
all
them
vary very slightly as well because they're hand poured. So you might find
not really ever so weighty, is it?
They're not heavy, but they're more sturdy than air dry.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. There is weight. You can feel.
Yeah, you know that it's on there. But on the same note, I stick it on things and they don't fall off either. You know, it's not so heavy that it tips itself over.
I suppose it depends how big this lampshade is and what it's covered
and I mean,
with,
if it's a lampshade on a lamp with a decent base, rather than a lampshade hanging on the...
Yes. Oh, I wouldn't. I'm so intrigued now, Jude. Please let us know. Perhaps you can send a picture of the lampshade before you've decorated it and after. It's a difficult one to answer because we don't know what the lampshade's like, but a very interesting question, actually. It
is, and I would, if you were going to go something like that, I would make it as just one, so that you know, because I say that they do have a little bit of weight about them. Yeah. But I can't remember what the ratio is. But the other thing I say is because they're all hand poured, you do get some slightly thicker than others. And in the box of 10, you could sort of select the slightly thinner one would be obviously slightly lighter. But I think it would work. I now need to go and buy a lampshade
Especially
and
if it's a
try it.
lampshade with a metal sort of structure to it.
Yeah,
as well.
which most of them have.
Yeah.
And as long as it's, as we always say, always on the outside, so it's behind the flame retardant. I mean, I know it's a plaster, but depending what you're putting on top of it, because they're absorbent.
It might be just for show as well. It might just be for decor purposes.
Because as I say, that's why the mica works so beautifully on them, because they're absorbent. The colour soaks in, and the mica sits on the surface.
I really hope Jude does this now and sends us pictures.
Jude, no pressure.
Yeah, exactly. That is looking amazing. Have you got another demonstration to get straight on with?
I can possibly make a little house.
Oh, perfect.
Okay, so I'm just going to
Of course, another project from the One Day Special. Available individually, but the value, as I say, is in the One Day Special. Working out at just £9.99 per project. Lots of bits and pieces in there as well. I'm sure everybody's got lots of ideas how they'd use theirs as well, whether it's for photographs, whether it's keepsakes, whether it's little mementos, whether you just want to showcase your favourite crafty items, perhaps. Oh, I heard that nice, satisfying click there.
Yes, and it was the MDF and not my joint. Because sometimes I put, was that my finger? Right, again, I'm going to do a little bit of a, I'll show you a little cheat with this as well. So when we were designing this, he's been overly generous with the slots on the side, because sometimes people find when you're lining up multiple layers like that, if your dexterity is not quite as good, you might find that actually getting that to line up perfectly a bit awkward. So by having a little bit of a wiggle room on it, it just makes it a little bit easier.
Oh, lovely.
Okay, and then you have the main one that comes through the middle. Okay, and that has the bit on the front that goes through to create the hook to hang your sign on.
Oh.
But I don't know if you also noticed, there are no tabs on here.
There aren't, are there?
So that can sit on straight after, before you put your roof on. So if you were doing, say for example you wanted to line this with paper, you could do your paper and everything at this stage before you put that on, again giving you manoeuvrability.
Perfect.
Bottom goes on, top goes on.
Do you know, that is so well thought out as well, Ali, because sometimes we can't avoid seeing little tabs and things because it's the makeup of the project, but you've got a really lovely flat surface there, so if you did just want to go with paint as well, you're not going to see those little notches.
Exactly, exactly. But what I am going to do is, just for ease for me, I'm going to work on just the front flat. So I'm just going to see, what have I got in my magic bag? All sorts. Okay, we've got, now this is where I'm going to be a little bit naughty. I've got walnut ink crystals.
You love these, don't you?
I do. But also, I'm not going to wash my brush. So any of that mica that was floating around is going to mix in here as well. So it's going to have a little bit of a sparkle.
Oh, and that was just a little bit more water you put in your
Yes,
cup,
so I'm not using my extremely sparkly, but I've just, can you see that? Look at that little bit of sparkle. So it's just going to add.
Oh yes, you can see it.
And this is a lovely thing. Don't always rush. So it won't be really intense because it was only the bit that was left on my brush. But look at that sparkle. It just adds that little bit of interest. Okay, so I'm just staining this up.
Oh,
but I say this would actually be on your house, but I'm just doing this. Also gives me some more bits to demonstrate with later.
Okay. Watching the sparkles just fizz and dance, it's just, to me, I love it as much as watching embossing powder.
Yes, but talking of embossing powder, we might have a little bit of fun in a minute with some bits. Ooh. So because what I said earlier, when we have our little meeting and we talk about what we're going to do, I'm actually going to do this house over the whole One Day Special, and we're going to do little things to go in each cubby hole on it throughout each show. So I'm
looking forward to
between the shows, I will actually build this up properly, but I just wanted to show you how to.
We have got about 10 minutes left, Ali, if you needed that reminder.
Okie dokie. I just want to show you how the sparkle will just carry through. Okay.
It's really picking it up. We can see it on the screen.
I know, and I love watching it as well. So you're going to let that dry naturally. And then we're going to start making things. One of the things should we put a green man to rust in?
Oh, yes, please.
Right, so we'll come back to that. Sorry, I know I'm jumping about all over the place, but I know it's like, oh, I've got 5 shows, I've got so much to show. But yeah, there is so much to show. So where's my little green man? Not that one.
Now
Here
the
he
green
is.
man is, we've got the different options for the plaster casts, haven't we? And the green man is one of them?
Yes.
Perfect.
Right, so, and he is going to fit in one of, because we could do seasons, couldn't we?
Oh, that would be a good idea.
Yeah. So this is a seasonal house. So we're going to do autumn, spring, summer. So he's going to go in that one because we're going to go some really nice autumnal colours. So first of all, we need to get him mica'd up. So
Okay.
we'll use a bit of walnut ink there as well. Okay.
Oh.
Now you can see why I chose autumn.
There. Oh, already, Ellie, that looks amazing.
Okay, but I am going to have to.
That walnut works so well.
Yeah, but if you haven't got walnut and you want to use the flame, mix up a good strong black coffee. It works really well on the plaster.
Oh, this is why I love you, Ellie. You're always full of so many good hints and tips.
But now, because I want to use the rust on here as well, and that's not going to give us a massive. I know. And it's not going to give us a massive contrast. I'm going to bring in the green mica as well. See, these are massive pots. So this should give us a nice bit of contrast.
Oh, I adore that green.
There we go. So that's going
to
to
see the gold coming through.
Okay, so we've got lots of sparkle going on with him.
Wow.
Okay, I'm just going to give, oh no, I'm not going to give him a dry. So, in your rusting kit, your rusting powder is in a little bag and you get a little pot to put it in, because we used to do it in a screw top lid, and the powder used to get into the screw and it would grate as it, and yeah, used to set my teeth off. So I'm like, no, I know we can't post it in those, it has to go in a bag in the pot, but trust me, you will appreciate the fact that it doesn't grate as you unscrew the top, you just pop the top. So tip it out when you get it. Now where's my little pot of vinegar? I had it 30 seconds ago. Right, so we've got to have a good memory here. So let me tip this up so you can see. At the moment, my rusting powder is like a yucky grey colour.
Yeah, it's
you
very
see that?
grey, isn't it?
It is, okay. So if I just left it like that, the moisture from behind would start the process, but it's not that quick.
Yeah.
So vinegar is much quicker. Now I found doing it on plaster, the vinegar soaks into the plaster quite quickly. So what you need to do is kind of feed the rust every 10, 15 minutes with another little spritz.
I see.
Now, when you first do rusting, so you'll spritz it, which obviously activates the mica as well, so everything starts mixing together, which is fabulous.
Look at it dancing again.
So, initially you'll go, I fancy chips, because the vinegar smell. But can I just say, as the vinegar hits the rusting powder and the chemical process starts, you get the smell of rotten eggs.
Oh no.
So once you get that whiff, it's not overly strong, but you do notice it. So once you notice that, it means it's starting to work. But the wanting chips does kind of disappear at that point. So you just let that. So you'll see it starts, on paper, you don't have to keep feeding it, but I found on the plaster, I just every sort of 10, 15 minutes, I came and I just give it another little spritz like that.
Okay.
And that will just keep the rust feeding and starting that, because it's actually the reaction of the acid from the vinegar with the rusting powder that starts the oxidisation.
So we will see more of this at 8 o'clock.
Yes, and also it's going to be interesting. We'll compare it with the one I've done on the blue and the green, because obviously we've got a lot of gold colours here. So it'll be interesting to see what colours of rust comes through, because depending what surface it's on as to what colours come through. So it's going to be, it's already, believe it or not, starting to change. I actually took photos earlier of the before and after on the other one, because you can't see it at first. You go, That's not happening. So what I do, the first couple of times you do it, have your rusting powder nearby, because when you put it next to it, you'll realise that it is changing colour.
We have managed just to get a grab of that picture as well, just to see that there so we can compare.
Yes, so I'll keep between now and the 8 o'clock show, I'll give it a couple more spritz, but I can already smell that it's working. You've got the obviously the vinegar, because it's vinegar, but you just get those undertones of the other
How interesting.
It's proper science, but absolutely amazing. And again, because you've got ridges, you get the rust will grow within the ridges, so you get the discolorations coming through, and it's just, but yeah, he's looking. So we'll leave him to one side.
I can't wait for 8 o'clock. Can't wait to see that. Oh, thank you, Ali. Oh, well, let's give you a reminder, of course, of the one-day special, because this is where you're going to keep all those keepsakes, and maybe the green man as well. Maybe you're going to make a seasonal house. Well, it's much more than that. 4 projects in the one-day special. We're looking at them all again now. How will you decorate yours? Will you go down the grungy route? Will you go very pretty? Will you make it seasonal? Will it be for your own keepsakes or your crafty items? You've got all those choices. These are just fantastic, aren't they? Every room in the house will really appreciate, I think, something. One of these projects here, I can think bathroom, the craft room, the lounge, the dining room, the conservatory. Oh, it just goes on. £39.96 is the price for the whole bundle. You're getting all 4, as I say, 2 payments of £19.98 if you want to take, of course, that flexi-buy option. That means anything else you pop into your basket and split the cost as well. 456493 is the item number. Do you know, I can't wait to see the rest of the shows, actually. I'm lucky enough to have another show with Ali today. I'll be in the studio tomorrow as well, so I'm going to be watching this rusting kit with interest as well. But everything on the show works so beautifully together. Of course, when it comes to the one-day special, think about the ephemera, think about the rusting kit, think about those micas as well. All those plaster casts, everything works so wonderfully together. Oh, we really are spoilt for choice, aren't we? Do you know, Ali, other than the green man, what we'll be doing at 8 o'clock?
Well, I think we'll do a little bit of ephemera onto... Should we do a grandfather clock? Should we do a crackled grandfather clock?
Oh, that would be good. That sounds very,
and then we'll make
good.
some little books and some little bottles with some of the ephemera to go into our house, finish the green man, and maybe set off some gilding with rust.
Oh, lot
we
to
can fit all that in, can't we?
We have got a lot to fit in. We'll should certainly try. We've only got 3 minutes left of this hour, of course, so let's just once again make sure you check those baskets out. We've had a very busy hour as well. Let's have a look at each item individually for you. We've got lots of samples around the studio as well. They're just amazing. Do you know, I don't know, I think I would want to put my keepsakes in something that's got memories.
Well, funnily enough, one of the entomologist cases is actually going to change through the shows, because it's got 3 completely different drawers in it, and one of the drawers is full of what I call found objects. Now, they could be, as you say, bits that you pick up off the beach, or, you know, we did it last week with the ephemera. You know, a broken cup, it's too nice to throw away. It might be the cup that your grandmother used or something.
Yes.
Keeps things like that. So the trays are deep enough that you can fit things in. You know, if you've got, you know, a dog, have their first collar or their tag and things like that. Paw prints, you could do plaster casts of babies' hands and things. You know, it's all about keeping it, and I say, because you've got the different shelves, you know, you can swap it round so that you can have different things out on display, because I do think we do a lot of things like this and then we put them away, and the whole point of this is to display. But yeah, memories, I mean, just the whole box invokes memories for me anyway, and then the fun of putting things in is just amazing.
I really hope you make those little books at 8 o'clock, because they're the thing that really appeal to me. I love those. I want to see how you do those. Well, it has been a busy hour. Don't forget to check those baskets out, of course. As I say, there's lots more on the show that we haven't even shown you properly anyway. We've seen the plaster casts as well, we've seen the skulls, we've seen the green man, we had the fossil there as well. There's more to see on the website there. But one day special, let us know what you would put in your boxes. Let us know how you would use your projects as well. Of course, if you are purchasing, it's not going to be long before you're going to be making yours and putting those memories in there. Maybe you've got an idea of something that we haven't mentioned as well. That would be interesting, wouldn't it?
It was. I mean, I put a few sneak peeks up online, and there was a few suggestions. I think there's a lot. There's a sort of, you know, between pretty and then the dark grungy side. And did you see the Christmas one at the back?
I didn't. Oh, can we get that? It's right by my... I'm not going to move, because if I move, which way? Right, I'm going to go this way. There we are.
Because again, you could swap it round so you could have different, you know, bits of depends what mood, what colour scheme you're going for. But yes, it doesn't have to be for bugs and things. It's just anything that you want to display.
So once the doors are in place then, Ali, you could take those out, could you? So if you wanted to change it with the seasons, you could do that as well if you don't stick solidly, whatever's inside. Oh, I like that idea.
Yeah, so you can, I mean, it's all about choices and changeability.
Yeah.
But on the top, you can have the doors shut or open, depending. I like to have them open because it just
Love it.
frames
Absolutely love it. Well, don't miss, of course, the One Day Special at 8 o'clock. Of course, we've got more to come in between as well. We'll be giving you the menu. Ali, thank you so, so much. Looking forward to 8 o'clock already. See you soon.